Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode. Like call it episode or another um another Sunday of our Fabric Sundays organized by the Winnipeg Fabric and Power BI user group in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And today we are going to simply talk about something very, very interesting, which is the Medallion architecture. The Medallion architecture. And I'm going to explain this architecture in a way that is very simple. So it doesn't matter really whether you are a beginner, whether you've not even heard the word medallion before. I'm going to break it down to make it as simple as possible for you to understand. And if you look at my screen, you will see that I'm on the Microsoft Fabric website. I'm currently on the Fabric Experience, and you can see, a lot of other things that you will see when you're on the home page, right? And so let me quickly explain what is medallion architecture. So the medallion architecture is a way in which we organize our data. It's organizing data in layers so that it becomes cleaner, it becomes more consistent, it becomes reliable, and it becomes useful, right? As it moves through these different layers, the different stages, right? It becomes more useful, it becomes more, we can rely on it. That's the word. You know, we can rely on that data more. That is the essence of the medallion architecture. And this architecture usually depends on, it's usually there's a common flow or the common layers that is common when it comes to this architecture. We have the bronze layer, we have the silver layer, and we have the gold layer. Now, the bronze layer is what some people call the staging layer, right? It's where we land all the raw data. When all the raw data are coming from, where they're coming from, yes, that's where they land, right? So for the bronze layer, we usually have the unprocessed data. It might be your CSV, it might be your parquet, it might be a JSON file, it might be even logs, it might be even API data, right? Data coming from different kind of sources, right? We don't process it, we just ingest it. That's the bronze layer. So it is just a way of keeping the original data safe, and we don't change anything from the original data, right? So the landing zone, the landing area is the bronze layer, where we land or we stage the raw data as it is coming from the source. We are not changing data type. We are not doing any transformation at all on the data, right? Now we have the silver layer. On the silver layer is where we now do all the transformations, data cleaning, you know. You see things like removing duplicates, removing null values, replacing values, changing data types, and doing joins, any kind of transformation at all. In fact, even creating more columns, right? Removing columns. All of those things happens at the silver layer of the medallion architecture, right? Now, we now have the gold layer. That is the layer where we now perform what is called data modeling, right? Where we now splitting tables into fact and dimensions. It is now the layer where uh, we are going to use downstream tools like Power BI, right, to connect to the data in that layer for our analytics, right? It is in that layer that we create what is called aggregated tables, where we now aggregate the, maybe we want to like probably change or manipulate data. We want to modify the level of granularity of that data, right? Maybe it's showing like on a daily basis that we want to increase the level of granularity to probably maybe monthly or weekly or quarterly, that is where that's the layer where the data is now ready for analysis. The data can now answer business questions, right? That's the data we now use in optimizing for our reports and our dashboards, right? So that is the basic introduction to what Medallion architecture is about. Now, I told you that the common uh, the common layers when it comes to this architecture is usually gold, sorry, bronze, silver and gold layer. But that does not mean that. So what would determine the number of layers that you're going to have will depend on the kind of projects you want to do and the requirements from the project, right? So the requirements and the project scope will determine how many layers. I've seen people that don't even do 3 layers. They just do 2. They land in the data somewhere, they clean the data on another layer, and inside that same layer is where they are going to perform all the modeling, splitting tables to fact and dimension. So some people have 2 layers. And you can also see some other architecture that is still medallion, that you will see 4 layers. You will see bronze, you will see silver, you will see platinum, and before you see gold. So it all depends. So it's not compulsory that it must follow bronze, silver, and gold layer, right? It's just for you to, the reason why we are here tonight is for you to just understand the concept of the medallion architecture, that the essence is for you to create reliable, consistent data, trustworthy data that can be used for analysis, that can go through different process, and each process will be defined, right? For the silver layer that I told you that's where we do transformation and the rest. In some companies, that silver layer now stands as the central repository, right? That's where you now see finance can refer to that data, supply chain, procurement, like different departments in the company can now refer to that layer as a central repository because it will bring in data from different places. So at that point, what you have in that layer is just the transformed data, right? But if you are looking for the data that you need for analysis, for downstream tools, that is where the gold layer comes in. And that's where you see the splitted data, the fact and dimension tables, your data fully modeled, right? That's where you see your data fully modeled, right? And also where you adjust the level of granularity. I don't want to waste time at all because the topic for today, we might not be able to complete today's topic, might not be able to complete it, but we'll start today and wherever we will stop at 8 p.m. The next week, Sunday, again, when we come, we can, continue from there. So I'm going to show you the architecture. I'm going to show you the architecture of what we're about to do. So let me know if you can see my PowerPoint screen. Let me see if you can see my PowerPoint screen.
Yes, it's up to.
Okay, thank you. So if you look at my PowerPoint slide, what you are seeing is that you are seeing our data source to be SQL Server. Although I'm probably going to change that. The data that I want to use for this demo is coming from Azure Data Lake Gen 2 in another tenant, right? That's interesting thing that you will learn in today's class. So I'm working with 2 tenants. I have one tenant where I have my Azure account. I have another tenant for my Fabric license, and I want to copy data from the Azure tenants, right? From my Azure tenants to my Fabric tenant. I want to show you how you do that. In case you want to copy data cross tenants, right? And I'm going to be using Data Factory, the Fabric Data Factory, the copy data activity uh, per, pipeline. I'm going to be using that to ingest the data into the bronze layer, right? Now, I'm going to be using the lake house as my bronze layer. That's where I'm going to be ingesting all the raw data, unprocessed data, right? I'm going to be using Data Flow Gen 2 to do all my data cleaning, my transformations and everything, right? And after doing that, I'm also going to load it to another lake house, or it might be within the same lake house where I will have different subfolders for the bronze and the silver. And I will load it inside that subfolder, right? And some people might use another lake house entirely for their silver layer. So it all depends on individual, what the requirement is, you kind of fabric license that you use, the compute resources that comes with your license and everything, you know. And after the transformation in the lake house, I'm going to use data flow gen 2 again to, you know, ingest the data or move the data to the gold layer, which is the fabric warehouse, right? The fabric warehouse is now where we are now going to have our fact table dimensions. We are going to, now use that to create our data model or semantic model. And we can now start building reports from there. And another thing I like about the gold layer is that it is the gold layer, that means the data warehouse that we can run TSQL scripts. We can, uh, we can run TSQL script on the data to, we can even manipulate the data inside the gold layer. We can manipulate the data. So it all depends on the requirements, right? And we can explore the data. We can do a lot of other things, even create views. We can even set up security. Using the SQL endpoint. We can do a lot of things. We are going to explore this, right? And we are also going to create pipeline. We are going to create pipeline that would always keep the data up to date and make the data to be consistent, right? So let's start. So now that you've seen the architecture, I think the only thing I'm going to change here, just give me a minute. I'm going to, uh, just give me a minute, please. Let me change our data source. I want to change the data source. So our data source should be ADLS Gen 2. Sorry for the background noise. The train is passing by the house. Sorry about that, guys. Let me just remove this one, or let me duplicate. Let me duplicate this. Yes. And I'm just going to remove this one from here. I come to this. Oh, yeah, yeah. Let me remove this one and delete this one. Then I'm going to bring in this one. Uh, is there a way I can? I'm coming, guys. So let me see if I can remove background or something. Ah, let me. Oh, my system is low. Let me put the charger. If you have questions along the way, please ask. Let me just put this here. Okay. So ADLS Gen 2 data factory will ingest and all. So that's the architecture. So uh, let me screenshot this. Let me screenshot this. So I can share with you. Okay. I'll copy this and I'll paste on the WhatsApp group. Okay, so let's continue now. So back to my Fabric interface. So I'm going to create a workspace. That's the first thing that we do. We create a new workspace, and we are going to call this workspace Medallion Architecture, right? And we don't need any other paparazzi. We are using trial. The small semantic model storage format is okay. Data you are dealing with is not a large data, so that storage format is already okay. Then we can apply. So we are creating this workspace. Let me cancel this. Let me cancel this one. Okay. So the first item that we are creating is a data pipeline that we're going to be using to ingest data. But before we do that, we need to first create a lakehouse where the data is going to land, the raw data, right? So I'm clicking on new item, and I'm going to come here and look for lakehouse, right? I click on lakehouse. Now, this lakehouse is where we have the bronze and the silver layer. So we can call it lakehouse underscore bronze underscore silver. Lakehouse underscore bronze underscore silver, right? The winning lakehouse schema, okay, we can leave it, right? And I can click on, it's going to be inside this workspace, and I can click on create. Now we've created the lakehouse. It's going to open the lakehouse for us. So this is the lakehouse experience, right? The next thing that we are going to do here, so we are going to, okay, so when we create a lakehouse, we are not just creating lakehouse alone. So let me go back to the workspace. You will see that it also created the SQL analytics endpoints together with the lakehouse, right? Aha. So let me go back to the lakehouse here again. Right? Lakehouse is empty. We don't have anything there. We have the tables and the file section in the lakehouse. So what we want to do now is that we want to ingest data into the file section. That is, it is ideal to always ingest into the file section because the data is probably raw data coming in different formats, and you have to, it's an unprocessed data. So the file section is ideal. So we are going to create two subfolders. We're going to create one. We call this one the bronze. That's where the raw data will land. And we'll create another new subfolder, and we call that one, we call that folder silver. So silver and bronze. Okay. So the raw data will live here. The transformed one will be here. Now, let's ingest data into this one. So we got to get data. So we can either do it two ways. We can, so I want to copy, I want to bring in ingest data from ADLS Gen 2. And don't forget that ADLS Gen 2 is on another tenant entirely, not on this tenant that I'm using for my Microsoft Fabric, right? So I'm going to go to new pipeline. I'll create a new pipeline. And I'll call this is the pipeline I use to ingest to bronze. So I'll call this one pipeline ingest to, oh, I already have it here, ingest to bronze. And I'm going to click on create. I'm going to click on create. Okay. Now it's going to take me to the pipeline experience. I'll say the pipeline experience here. Now, if this ADLS was probably my tenant, I might not need any paparazzi. I might not need so much of configuration, security stuff for me to be able to access the ADLS Gen 2. Because it's on another tenant, there's something that there are two things that we need to do. We need to go to that particular ADLS. We need to copy the endpoint to that particular ADLS, that storage account, right? We need to also generate what is called shared access signature, SAS token, right? We need to generate SAS token. right? It is that SaaS token that will now give us the opportunity for us to be able to connect to that. Now, we need to create another role in that storage account. We need to create a role. I think it's called is it blob storage reader. I'm still going to show you. I'm going to go there. I'm going to show you, right? We need to do all of these things for us to be able to connect to that ADLS Gen 2 in another tenant. Now, so where am I picking data from? I can just search here, data lakes, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. I'm going to click on it, right? I need the URL, the endpoint to that particular uh, storage account on Azure. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to come here. Data I want to connect to is in this storage account, is inside this landing folder. Is a package file, right? Coming from ADLS Gen 2, right? So what I need to do is to first go to settings here inside my storage account and go to endpoints and go to endpoints. Now, when I get to endpoints, I'm going to see this one here. I'm going to see this data lake uh, endpoint, the URL that will enable me to connect to Fabric. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to my pipeline interface. I'm going to paste this. Now, the container where I'm going to go to my storage browser. The container where I have this uh file that I want to ingest or that I want to copy. So some people will be like, why copying since you can use shortcuts? Yes, you can use shortcuts to also do that. But in terms of authentication, you will still go through the same process. So the decision to either use a shortcut to ingest ADLS Gen 2 data inside of Fabric or to use copy will depend on exactly what you want to achieve, right? If you want to actually move the physical data, right, to Fabric, then copying the data will be the preferred option. But if you just want to point a link to the source and you don't want to move the actual data to Fabric, then shortcuts will be the best option. But in this scenario now, what I want to do is to actually copy the data, right, instead of using shortcuts, right? So since I already have that, now the container where I have the data I want to get is inside this raw blob container. I'm going to also add that to my what's it called here? So my URL here, I'm going to have raw. So my URL. Because I already have a connection. I already have a connection, but let's assume that I do not have any connection at all, right? How do I? It's already so you see now it's already showing authentication kind, shared access signature, right? What I told you about the shared access signature, right? What I want to create newly for the sake of those that are going to be doing this probably for the first time. Like, how do you go about it? So after you've copied the URL, you've added the blob container, and since it's not within your organization, so you cannot use organization accounts, right? So what I will use is the shared access signature, and I will need the shared access signature token. So how do I generate this shared access token? So what we are going to do now is that we are going to go back. We are going to go back to uh, our ADLS Gen 2, right? Our storage accounts. We are going to go back there and we are going to look for security and networking. And under that, you will see this shared access signature, right? And you want to create a new token. Now, if you want to create a new token, you probably do not need, some options. Some options there that you don't need to use, right? So what you will do is that you will check everything you need to check here. You will check this, you will check this, you will check this. Now you will uncheck permanent deletes under allowed permissions, and you will uncheck enable deletion of version, right? Enable deletion of version. And you're going to pick your date. From when to when do you want this access token to be valid? So today is 26, right? 7:17 p.m. Central American time. Okay. I want this access token to be valid till, let's say, for example, let's say till December 31st of this year, right? Depends on your choice. You pick the time zone and you can pick the option allow protocol HTTPS, right? And after that, you can now generate your shared access signature token. And after doing that, right, what you this there's a way you will put the there's a way you are going to put the what's it called? There's a way you're going to put this into work, right? And this is how you do it. But before you even do this, it's something that I probably would like to show you. Now, let me open my notepad. Let me open my notepad. Let me open my notepad. I think I have my notepad here open. Aha. Now, this is the style we are going to use. We are going to first copy and paste the endpoint for the blob container, right? The endpoint for, sorry, our ADLS Gen 2, sorry, account, together with the container. Now, we are going to use this REST type container and comp, blah, 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 blah. We are going to join that with the SAS token that will generate from this one that we generated here. Now, but before this will work, there's something that you must also do, which I'm still going to show you. Now, so first of all, let's go and copy this one that we copied here. Let's copy it. Let's copy it. Let's go back to our notepad. We are going to first paste the URL, to the storage account, and also that also contain the blob container, the /raw. The raw is the container. Now, the next thing we are going to copy, we're going to do is that we are going to type in this, right? This one will be in like the middle before we copy and paste the SAS token. So after this link, you put the hash and you put something like this. You say rest type, right? Rest type. I think it's supposed to be, is it double T or I'm coming? If it's not correct, we are going to know. But I think it is rest type. Yes. Rest type equals to, yeah, I think it's double T, equals to container, container and comp, right? Equals to list. I'll use the and symbol again. Then I'll go and copy the SAS token. This SAS token, I will now copy it, right? I will go back and now paste the SAS token just after the last and. And this will now be what I will use as my SAS token to be able to connect to this ADLS Gen 2 in another tenant, right? There's one additional thing that you also need to do before this would work. We are doing this for the first time. Before this will even work, it's another additional thing that you need to do, which I will still explain, right? Which I will still explain. So on your ADLS, your ADLS Gen 2 account, right? You will go to your storage browser and you will go to the blob container. And in this your raw blob container, you see these three dots here, right? And you will click on the three dots and click on this access control. You click on access control. And when you get to access control, you are going to go and create a role. You will create a role, right? Now, I've already created a role, and I will tell you exactly how I did it. So these are the different kind of roles that you can create. So because my account, the ADLS, the Fabric account, is another tenant entirely, right? And I need to, and I want my Fabric to be able to access the data inside that storage account. So I'm going to go to role assignment. Now, you see that I've already created it. It's a storage blob data reader. That's the because you see that this particular tenant is different. This one is on Microsoft.com. My Azure is Outlook.com, right? I'm going to go to this role assignment. And when I get to my role assignment, I'm going to click on this add a role assignment. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to show you how you do this. You click on this add role assignment and you look for that storage blob reader. You see it now, this is storage blob reader, right? You click on this, you click on next. And when you get here, now for the storage blob reader, if it is within the same tenant, you can add user, you can add a security group or service principal, or even there's something called manage identity. That's a topic for another day, not for today. So what you're going to do here is that you are going to click on select members, and the email for the other accounts, for the Fabric account, you're going to copy and paste that email here. And when you do that, you click on your select, right? And you click on next until you are done. In fact, you can even add in more restrictions. So this role assignment, depending on what you want to achieve or what you want to do. But by the time we start talking about, we get to Azure later, we are going to discuss this more in details, right? So that's just an intro to how to create a new role assignment, and you assign the email from the other tenant to storage blob reader, right? And the person will be able to, so that will not give the person access to be able to access the data in this storage account. So that's just a simple way to explain it. Now, after you've done this, then you can now go back to, let me now go back to my notepad. I'll now copy the SAS token that I generated. I'm going to copy this and I'll go back to my Fabric and I'm going to, oh, I've already pasted it already here. Good, good. And then I'm going to click on next. Then you need to allow it to connect. So if you don't do that storage blob data reader before you go and do generate your SAS token, it might not connect because they are not on the same, tenants, right? And you just give it give it a few seconds for it to load. Okay, still connecting. Just give it a few seconds. I don't know why it is this slow. Good. So you can see the folders that I have inside of you see these two folders that I have here. Let me go back to my storage accounts. You see raw and mimic. Those are the two containers that I have here. This one is just for logs, right? You see that it's also showing here inside of my Fabric, right? So I go to raw, I go to raw, I go to landing. That's where I have and you see my data here in Parquet. I think I also have some data. I have one in Mimic. That one is the CSV, right? Under sales data, I also have this also. See, I have one CSV inside this one, but I'm using let me look at the CSV one. Okay, can we preview this one? I think we can preview this one too, right? Okay, we can preview. Oh, nice. So I'm using the Parquet one, and I'm going to click on next. Just allow it to preview. You see this is the raw data. This is the raw data. You see the data. I'm going to click on next, right? I'm going to click on next. And where do I want to load this data? I want to load it in the file section, not the table section. I have a folder called bronze. So I want it to land inside the bronze folder. So I'm click on that folder. That is where I want it to land, right? I think it's my network. I don't know why it is slow. So it's going to land here, and I click on OK. And what do I want to call this data when it gets to the bronze folder? I want to call it sales underscore data bronze, right? Sales underscore data bronze. So the copy behavior, I don't want to really do anything on the copy behavior. I just leave it the way it is. There's the flighting hierarchy, there's the merge file, there's the preserve hierarchy. So don't let me do anything on that. I will explain this one to us later. When we start discussing some things on pipelines, talk about partitioning, talk about how you can parameterize your pipeline and all. We'll talk about that later. So the sales underscore data underscore bronze, I'm going to click on next, right? And here it is going to be CSV now. It's coming as paquet. By the time we load it inside the file section, it becomes what? CSV, right? Delimited text, comma, blah, 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 add header to file, compression type. I might not pick anything here. Just leave it the way it is. Click on next. So from paquet to CSV, right? To CSV. Then I'm going to click on save and run. I'm going to click on save and run. So it is saving my pipeline, and it started running the activity. So the activity you see inside here is the copy data activity. So if I click on outside here, I'm going to be able to monitor the progress of my pipeline, of my data injection, right? I'm going to be able to monitor the activity, like the activity inside of my pipeline. So this pipeline is just for us to be able to ingest. So you see that it's telling me before it was in queue, now in progress, successful. Now it is now showing succeeded, right? So my pipeline data has been ingested successfully inside of my. So how do I know how will I see the data? I'll go back to my lake house. This is my bronze layer. I'm going to come there and refresh it. Let me refresh it. I can even refresh the entire lake house. I can refresh the entire, and you see now, data I was bringing from this ADLS here now, it has now been ingested inside of the bronze layer. Wonderful. Now, I can even preview. Oh, preview is not available. Why now? Let me refresh again. This is very funny. What could be wrong? It's a CSV file though, so if it's not available for CSV, wow, just serious. So the data is in its raw state here. No unprocessed, no cleaning, nothing. Now, what I will now do is that I'm now going to use data flow gen 2. Now, I'll use data flow gen 2 to connect to this file, this bronze data, and I'm going to do transformations inside of that my data flow gen 2. And I'll now load the transform data inside of my silver layer. So let's go. So I'll go back to my workspace, and I'm going to click on new item. And this new item, so every item you create, you see them inside your workspace. So I'll come here and I will look for data flow gen 2. The author data flow gen 2 using Power Query. So this data flow gen 2, what are we using it for? Is to move data from bronze to silver. I can uncheck this one. Is to do what? Move data from bronze to silver. And I'm going to click on create. I'm creating a data flow gen 2 for my transformation because now in some people's some people's architecture, they will prefer to use notebook and they will write their PySpark, their Spark SQL and whatever. It's fine. But because I'm using this example because I'm assuming that we are beginners, right? And number two is that the data we are dealing with is not like a large data, right? So this is a very fast way of doing all the processes, right? So in this one, I'm going to go to get, just like your Power Query, right? It's your Power Query experience, your Power Query online. You go to get data and you go to more, and you are going to look for the data in your One Lake catalog. In my One Lake catalog, that is, all the data that you have in your Fabric environment is sitting on the what? Is sitting on One Lake as the central data lake, the central data store for all the data ingested inside of your Fabric environment. So I have my lakehouse. I'm going to, because that lakehouse is what contains my data I want to transform. So I'm going to click on that lakehouse. It's still connecting to the lakehouse. Let's give you like few seconds for that to be done. Right? You see, it's showing me the type of the item, the owner of the item. Then last it was refreshed. The location means the workspace, right? So I get here, I'll go to my files and I'll go to my bronze layer, my bronze subfolder where I have the raw data. I'm going to, expand my bronze. I'm going to click on the, if I want to preview, I'm not previewing. I'm going to click on create because it's connecting to that data. Okay. So just like you will see in your Power Query, just like you see in your Power Query, there's some applied steps that comes by default, right? Like your source, navigation. Sometimes you even see promoted headers. For people that are using Power Query very well here, Mr. Okay, Mr. Onilade, I don't know who this Taiwo is, so can you say hello to us? So, hello. So, just like your Power Query.
Bio's friend.
Well done, sir. How are you doing?
Not bad. I manage,
Well done, well done.
It seems I've not
So
been following up with this class, or maybe, I don't know.
don't worry, all our classes are recorded. I'm not putting it on YouTube because I've been editing them. That's why.
Oh, okay.
But very soon, everything will be on YouTube and you'll be able to watch the videos, even though you're not in class consistently.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, as I was saying, that just like your Power Query experience, where you can do transformations, low code, no code. Hmm? So we are going to also do transformations like we do in our Power Query desktop. So now I'm going to, you see that the first row should be the headers. So I'm going to say use first row as headers. And that's our first transformation. Use first row as headers, right? Use first row as headers. Good. Now, we'll now start changing data types. We'll now start changing. Now, if you look at here, you will see that you are already seeing the first thing that I suggest that everybody should look out for is that before you start transforming data, always look out for the metadata information about that data. It's very, very important, the metadata information. For example, you change this column profiling to column profiling based on entire data sets. You will go here to view, you will look at your data view, and you can check everything you need to check. that will give you enough statistics about your data, about the data, the table, the rows. Now you can see here that it's telling me that I have 7991 unique and 7991 distinct. Mr. Tai, what do you think? What does that imply to you? 7991 distinct and 7991 unique. What does that mean?
Means that there's no much duplicate values there.
That means there's no duplicate value. That's the meaning.
Yeah.
It means that none of the other number repeats itself.
Yeah.
Everything appears once.
Yep.
That's why the unique count is the same as the distinct count. Right? Okay. Now, your metadata of your table will let you know how to handle the table, how to analyze the table, how to approach the table. So let's say in a scenario whereby the other number repeats itself, maybe because people bought different products in, when you go to a store, maybe you go to Costco, you go to Superstore, you go to Freshco, you go to Walmart. Sometimes you don't buy one particular thing in one order. Did I lie, Mr. Tayo? Sometimes you go there to buy groceries and you combine a lot of stuff, right?
Please
Am I
come again.
correct?
Come
I mean,
again.
when you go to the store, most times to buy your groceries, you don't buy one thing, right? In most cases,
Yes.
exactly. You buy several things. Now, when you get to the counter, are they going to give you the different receipt for each item, or they give you
No.
one receipt that contains all the item?
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
One
good.
receipt for one receipt
One
for all the
receipt that contains all the items that you bought. Thank you. Now, there are some tables that when you see the structure of the table, it will show that kind of scenario. You will see one order number, one order ID, or one payment ID, or whatever they call it. It will repeat itself. And the reason is because inside that order, the person bought different things. They bought water, they bought drinks, they bought bread, they bought fruits, they bought egg. They bought different items inside one. And when you get to the counter and you pay, you give just one receipt with all the different items, the prices, the GST, the HST, the whatever tax they are removing, whatever discount they are giving you, everything. You will see the information on that receipt. Now the structure of it on a table, on the database, can be different, or on the OLTP systems that capture that data, the raw data, might be different, right? In the sense that, just like I said, you see different order, you see same order number repeats several times, you see different products for that same order, right? In that scenario, you will now talk to yourself, how do I approach this? Am I going to, with that, I cannot really call the other number my primary key again, because a primary key feature is that it must be unique, right? It must be unique. Now, how do we approach this in engineering? Sometimes we introduce surrogate keys. Surrogate keys are artificial generated keys. They have no business meaning. What they usually just do is that they make each row to be unique, right? You can, and the way we usually do that in Power Query is when we add index column. You can say start from 0, you can say start from 1, depending on the structure, right? So we can introduce surrogate key, we can introduce composite key. What's composite key? Composite key is when we merge two columns together, and merging the two columns together will now make us have unique identifier for each row. For example, you can combine your order number with your product ID, even together with the dates, and that will give you a unique identifier for each row. Instead of having order number repeat itself, and you cannot use that order number alone to determine that to determine your primary key. I don't know whether that makes sense to us. Mr.
Very
Taiwo,
well. Very well.
Mr.
Very well.
Oke, and
Very well.
Satoshi. Okay, thank you. So that is the way we handle such table. But in this scenario, the metadata has showed us that we do not need to do that because we already have 7999 unique and 7999 distinct, which means the other ID, the other number has not repeated in any way. Perfect. So now we can see our other number is our primary key. Now we have sales channel, we have warehouse, we have procure dates. Now, if you look at the date, don't forget that this is the middleman. This data flow gen 2 is the middleman between the bronze layer and the silver layer. Don't forget that, so guys. This is where we do the transformations. I will now load it to silver for subfolder where we now have a transform data. But that data that we transform is not yet ready for analytics. So it's until we now break it down into dimension and facts, and we are now able to model it. That's when they will now do that inside of the silver, the gold layer, sorry, right? So we first need to deal with this date. This date is a big problem. It might just seem like it's not going to just go to I'll just go to this place and just change it to dates. Now, if you do that, it will bring an error, and you will see. It will bring an error. See what happened. Just hold on, you will see the error. Aha, good. What did you see? It's showing some error. Can somebody tell me why this error is coming up? Can somebody try? What do you think from what you are seeing on the screen? Let's start, okay?
Yeah, probably because some of the values are not valid date objects.
Because they are not valid date objects. That's a very good reason why it might show error. Mr. Taiwo, try. When I change it from text to date, it brought error for some rows. Why do you think that happened?
Probably because all the rows are not unique.
No.
Like the values on
Okay.
the rows
Yes.
are not the same.
I didn't quite get your point though. Very
What I
well.
mean is that, like,
Okay.
when we talk about the date type, sometimes we'll just put date and time, or probably it is just number that is there. So when we just go there and change it without changing some of the value down those rows,
Okay.
it might throw out error in some value and give date those ones that are correct, leave them as dates. Those ones that the format are not correct, throw them as error.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, sir. But you and Mr. Okay have tried. You've tried. But there's something I was expecting that you guys should talk about. You know, when you are working in Excel, in Excel, sometimes when your computer, if you look at my computer here, what's my date format? See my date format is what? You are seeing what here? Is year, month, and day. Now, look at this, the format of this dates. The 4 days. What are you saying? Is day, month, and year. That is number one problem. For some dates, it will work. For some dates, it will not work when I convert it to a date data type. And the reason why it will not work is because from some dates that has probably so it's assuming that this one that is my date here is the year. That's why if I come here and I change this one to date, still at that first row will be error. Let's see. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? It's assuming that date is year. That's why it's giving error. And for some other rows, it's working perfectly. For some rows where the numbers are higher, it will be seeing month as year and seeing year as month. That is where the problem is coming from. Because my
The date
system
format.
settings, sorry?
Yes, the date format, the settings of the date format
Is different. The setting of my system
varies
dates.
varies on the rows.
Exactly. So what do I do? It's something I usually do. once we started using Power Query and we're learning Power Query that time, we used to first split it. We split the column into 3, and we will now merge it back again. I'll now turn it to, but there's a dicey way to go around this one, because I'm going to show you. There's a dicey way around it. And the dicey way around it is this. I have to split each one by one. That's the tricky part. So I have to first split column. I'll split by delimiter. And my delimiter is custom delimiter. Oh, so let me go back to basic. It's custom. And my delimiter is this slash symbol here. Right? And I click on OK. So I first, split the 3 columns like that. Now, after splitting these 3 columns, the next thing I'm going to do is that now this 3rd one is the year column. The problem is that if I merge it again and just say I click on the year, I pick month, I pick date, it might still throw me an error because this 17 is not complete. It doesn't have 2000 and something like the normal date would have. So how do I handle this kind of thing? So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to create a custom column. I'm going to add column, create custom. I'm going to call this one custom 1. I'm not going to say I'm going to be adding 2000 plus whatever it is seen on the year column, which is this procurement date 3. That's the year column. Right? I'm going to be adding 2000 to that, and I'll click on OK. Now, 2000 that I added will now be my new year column that I'm going to now merge back to form back my procure date. So I'm going to, you see, I have it now, 2017. It's not showing properly now. 17 and 18. I think those are the 2 years that I have in the data. 2017 and 18. Let me load it to see. Oh, you see now, it's even to 2020. Good. I'm now going to come back. I will make sure I change this one to number, to whole number. I'll change this one to whole number. And I will come back here. I will also make sure I change. Oh, they are even already in whole number. Good. So I'll now come here. I'll pick the year first. Since my format is year, month, and day, I'll pick this one first. I will go back and pick the month. Hold on, this is this one. Procurement dates. Oh, I made a mistake, guys. Sorry. Let me go back. I pick the year. I'll click on the control button that I'll click on. Control button. I'll click on the month, and I'll click on the day. And I'll now right click here and click on merge columns. So I'm merging what's my separator. A separator can be the minus symbol here, right? And this will now be my new procure date. This will now be my new procure date. This will be my new procure date. And I'm now going to click on OK. Okay. I'll now click on OK. Now, I will do the same. So you see now, that's now showing like my system format, the year, the month, and the day. And I will now go back here. I will now go back here and now change it to date this time around now. It will not give me any error this time. You see now, it has now changed to a date, data type, right? Now, I'll still remove all these ones that I used though. Procurement 3, I don't need it again. Even like custom 1 that I created, I'm still going to remove it. But for now, I can't even see where's the custom. Okay, I've merged it here. I've merged it. So here now, I'm now going to also do the same thing for order dates, for ship dates, for delivery dates. So the data cleaning is generally where most of the work happens. Now that's where the major task is. So I'm going to, guys, we are spending extra time today. Today is not like the regular class, our regular 1 hour section. But if it's taking too long, I will just have to stop. I will continue again next week. Let me know when you are tired so that we can all leave here. So I right click again. I split column by delimiter, the same process. And custom, I'm going to put my slash. I'll do that for other dates. I'll create a new custom column again. I'll add new column. I'll create my custom column again. I don't know whether it's my laptop. The guy has been working this morning, so that's why it's a little slow. I don't know. The system is tired. So I call this one custom 2. I'm also going to add 2000 plus that will be order date 3. That's why I have the years at the year. And I'm going to click on OK. I'm going to also do the same process. I'm going to merge again. I'll do that also for the ship date and the delivery date, right? So I count this one. I make sure I make it whole number, right? Okay. And I will click on this custom 2. I'll click on my control button on my keyboard. And I'll come and also highlight order date 2 and order date 1, which is the month and the day. And I'm going to right click here, or I'll come to this place here and click on merge columns. And my separator will be custom. It's going to be this minus. And this one will now be my new order dates, right? And I'm going to click on OK. This will be my new. I'll also do the same thing again for, let me quickly rush it. I'll do the same thing for, which other dates column do I have here again? Ship dates. Yes. And I will now come here and change this one now to date. I'll do the same thing also for ship date. I'll do the same thing for ship date. Okay. So the next one is the ship date now. Right click. So I won't waste time. Split by delimiter. My separator is custom slash. I'll click on OK. I'll also go and create another custom column called custom 3. I don't need them. They're just like a staging column. Do you understand what that means, everybody? Staging column. It's just a means to an end. Right? So I'll create my custom column. Oh, did I do that? Did I do that already? Okay. So 2000 plus that will be my ship date 3, right? And I'm going to click on OK. Oh, it will not cause problem if I call it custom. Let me go back and call it custom, custom 3 or custom 4. Let me just call it custom 4. And the data type should be whole number. Yes. Good. Okay. So I'm now going to create a new ship date now by merging this custom 4 that I just created together with oh, I've not highlighted it. Okay. Together with the ship date 2, which is the month and the day. I'll right click again, I'll merge, and I have one more to go. That's the delivery date. Custom again, minus, and this one will now be what? Our ship date now. Ship date. So there's no one way to. Everybody has like their own approach, the way they approach transformation. But one thing that one must just make sure of is that you optimize it so much in a way that when you refresh, you run your pipeline, it doesn't take too much, I thought I would even prefer if you can use notebook. If you are good with PySpark, PySpark, you can use notebook for your transformation, because that one to run, that one, the engine that runs is on Apache Spark, so it can process large amount of data, and it also has that distributed data processing. We call it parallel processing, right? Distributed processing. It can break down the transformations into smaller components and breaks it back together again. I will explain that to us later, right? Okay, so we now have our ship date now. So the last one that we are doing this for is the, which one? Oh? Delivery dates. Yeah. So we're also going to split that too, split column by delimiter, and we're going to say custom. I'm going to slash this. Yes. And quickly, I'll create custom pipe. And we're almost done with transformation. So I'll load it now into, the, what's it called? I will load it into the server layer now in a few minutes. So I have delivery 1 to 3, just like I always do. Add custom column. This one will be custom 5. This one will be 2000 plus that will be delivery 3. Yes, that's where we have the year. And data type should be whole number. And I click on OK. And I'm going to merge now. I'm going to merge it. Okay. So I click on custom 5. And I will click on delivery 2, which is the month, and delivery 1, which is the day. And I'll come back here again and I will merge. And this will now be my new delivery, what's it called? Delivery dates. Okay, I'm almost done. And this is my new delivery dates. Delivery dates, yes. And I'm going to click on OK. So what I'm going to do is that all the other columns that were just a means to an end, that I won't need later. I will not remove because of the interdependency between them. So I'm going to remove, I'm going to choose column and just uncheck them because they're also part of the query. So let's move on. After delivery, my delivery date now, I have to change it to date. Sorry. Change it to dates. Aha. I'm almost done with this. So let me quickly move past. Delivery date, ship date, everything is complete. Then my country code is fine. My sales team ID is fine. Customer ID is fine. Store ID, product ID, order quantity looks good. Discounts applied is decimal. It looks good. Unit cost is good. Unit price is okay. Custom 2 and the other dates, yes. So I will now go to my home and I'll go to my choose column and I'm now going to remove the columns that I don't need. Right? I don't need procurement date 3. It was just a means to an end. I don't need other dates 3. Why do I still have it? Okay, let's go ahead. Order date 1, 2, 3. I don't need it. Right? I don't need this ship date 3. Delivery date 3. I don't need all of those things. What again? I don't need custom 2. I don't need custom 2. Is there any other column here that I don't need? I think I've unchecked all of them. And I'll now click on OK. So this will be my last step. I've cleaned the data. I've made sure that they are in their data types. I've removed the columns that I don't not remove. I've unchecked columns that I don't need. Right? So I can even do this one to be the last step. Since that was the order before. The order is what? The first one I will have is what? My order dates. Order dates will come first. After order, what's the next one? Oh, procure dates, so that should come first. Sorry. Should be procure dates. I don't even know what I'm saying, say again. Order dates, procure dates, ship date, and delivery. I think order was the first one. Yeah. So now that I'm done with my data cleaning, everything looks good. Then I'm going to oh, this one should even be called silver, not bronze. It's going to be in the silver layer, not bronze. Okay. Now that I'm done, I'm going to click on my destination. Let me be fast. I'm going to click on still the lake house. I'm loading this to the lake house. Next. What lake house do I want to load this to? I want to load this to inside my Medallion architecture workspace. I'm going to now load this to the silver folder. It's okay. You have a question?
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes?
No, I saw that you were on mute. That was why I was.
Sorry.
No problem, sir. I was just asking whether you have a question.
I don't. Thank you.
Okay. So I would put it on my lake house. I'll click on next. And this is the way I'll do the column mapping. So on the source, it is order ID. If you can switch up automatic settings. So there's dynamic schema and fixed schema. So fixed schema is that your schema is fixed. You are not adding any new column. The column names are not changing. That's when you pick fixed schema. But dynamic schema, you know that the schema can change. Like changes can happen to the table not in terms of rows that are like the incremental load. No, it's in terms of the table structure. So I always prefer that if you know that your table can change, your table data type can change, you can begin to have more columns there. You should pick dynamic. So this is what, if you say you can change the name here. If it's called order number from the source, you can change it to another thing, the destination, right? So it all depends on so it's just showing you the mapping here. How it's going to be mapped, right? Okay. And then you can now click on save settings, and it's going to now load it inside that your lake house, your bronze and silver lake house. So let it load. Now, when you save settings, it doesn't load to your lake house automatically. You have to now publish. Click on publish. You click on publish, right? It will take you off the data flow gen 2 interface, right? And then you see it's still loading. Now, when you go back to your lakehouse here, and you look at your file section, you will not see it yet because it's still loading. It's still loading in your, it's showing that it's still loading in your workspace. I think it's done loading now. It will refresh. After that, now when you open back your lakehouse again, you see the data there. The clean data, you see it there now. Just give a few seconds for it to be done, refreshing. I don't know why it is this slow. It's a little slow. Oh, it's done now. So when you now go back to your lakehouse now, you will see it there. So just refresh the entire lakehouse or refresh the file section. Any way you want to do it. right? Click on the file section. It's not inside our this thing again. Oh, it loaded to the table section. It loaded to table section. Well, it does not really matter anyway. It doesn't. So this is, you see our. So it loaded to the table section as a delta table. A delta table. See the delta symbol here. Right? That is the how will I put it? That is the file format, right? For the table section of the lakehouse, right? Like for your clean data, because that particular file type is for compressing the data size. Right? It's the best. That is the best or one of the best file storage formats, right? So this is now where you have your clean data now inside of your oh my god. Supposed to be here. I don't know if I can move it back. Oh my. I can't move it back to silver. Yes, so let me just do this. So this is your schema, the DBO. Let me create no, not the new schema. I wanted it to come to silver. I don't know why it didn't come. But no problem. It's fine. Let's assume that this is our silver, this thing now. Because of time, I don't want to go back and doing it again to come to silver. That will waste time. So let's assume that this is our silver now, and we have the raw data. The raw data is inside this bronze. This is the cleaned one. That's the silver, right? So the next thing that we'll do here is we are now going to create another data flow gen 2 that will now move this data. That we will now break it down to dimension and facts, and we'll now create our model and everything from there, right? So I'll go back to our workspace. I will create another data flow gen 2. So new item. So I will now look for another data flow gen 2. I'll try to be very fast. So this one is for moving from silver to the gold layer, right? And I click on create. So I'm creating another one. If you guys can wait, I won't take much time again. So we can rush it so that instead of having to go do it again next week, we already completed it today. So I'll go to my get data. I'll go to more. I will look for my one lake catalog, and I have my lake house, my bronze to silver lake house. I'll connect to that, and I'll go and pick that data inside the table section, the cleaned one. This way I will now transform it further. I will now break it down to dimension and fact table. And I will now load it to our data warehouse, which is our relational database, where we now have all the everything. I'm not seeing my table section here. Okay, I'm seeing it here. This is it. The clean data is here. Yeah, this is it. This is it. I'm now click on create. You can create a connection to it. Then I'm not quickly do the breakdown. Since the data is already clean, I don't need to do anything much than just break it down. So here, I'll do what is called reference. Instead of using duplicate, I'll use reference. So this will be like my source data, but these are data flow gen 2. And I will now have difference. I will now break it down to dim fact and to fact and dimension. So I would just say reference. Mr. Okay, do you know what the reference is for? That I will. Why I chose reference instead of duplicate?
Yeah, like probably the source. We are attaching it to the first the source data.
The initial table.
Initial table.
It means that if anything happens to this table, it will affect the others.
Definitely.
So because if I need to be duplicate, it means that I'm creating a copy that is standalone.
Yeah.
So even if I delete the original, it doesn't affect the new copy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's for duplicate. But if I do reference, it means that
Whatever happens
any
to
changes
A
that
will
happens
happen to
to,
B.
thank you. God bless you, sir. Okay. So I will now come here and I will now start with I'll create some new tables. Customer table. So what do I need in customer table? I just need the customer ID column. I don't have any other column here that relates to customer. So I will just say choose column. I will remove any other column here and I will only look for customer ID. Is there any other column that relates to customer? No. It's just the customer ID column. Then that's the only column that I will choose that relates to customer. I will even change the name. Instead of calling it customer, I'll say dim underscore customer so that you can know there's a dimension table, right? And because I brought this from the sales table, so I'll see duplicate. I have to remove duplicate so that I can maintain a unique list of all the customer IDs. You see now 50 distinct, 50 unique. Let me be fast. I come here again. I do reference here. And here, I'm also going to do dim what again? Dim store.
Okay, stop.
We have dim store. Let me just create them and so I can remove the column later. Dim store. Click on this one and reference again. Which one again? Dim products.
Products.
Dim products. It's which one again? You can let me look at it too. You can
I don't
look
know
at it
if you want.
together.
In fact, I wanted to ask questions that while
Okay,
we were
sir.
doing the date
Yes.
in the query, I want to assume what we did there was in Power Query. That this one that we are doing here now isn't what we should have done there, or can't we bring that table without tampering with the date to this place and come and create date dimension here and probably use it as a role playing or just create shipping date,
Okay, you
all
wanted us
those
to
things.
create the dates table when we were doing the transformation, Abby.
Yes, when we are doing the transformation, can't we create
Okay.
date table while we are doing when we are
So
doing that transformation,
okay.
or
So let
just
me
bring that raw table to this place and come and do the and when we are referencing it now, we can now reference date table and clean the date table up here or something. I want to ask that question. That is
okay.
it
Let
something
me
that we
explain
can
it to
do
you,
like?
sir.
Okay,
So
thank you.
you know that what we are doing is medallion architecture, Abby. The different layers: bronze, silver, and gold. Now, for some organization, they will only have 2 stages. It doesn't have to be the 3. Instead of, you know what I mean now, I first used one data flow gen to first do clean all the entire data, transform it and load it to the silver layer. Some people will do to transform after cleaning, they will now do transform it inside of that same place.
Okay.
But the idea of silver layer is that the data is just transformed, and that can serve as a central repository for people in the organization. This one that we are doing is now in the gold layer. Is now like we are now creating. It's not like we want to say out of this transform layer, the silver layer, and I want to create a report for finance.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I got
finance
it.
will now have their own data model.
So the original data at the bronze will be a general data in the workspace for
No, the
everybody
silver
that
data
wants
is
to
what you even give people access to.
access to.
For those that
That
want to also
anytime they
do
want to
some
go,
further
or the data that can always be, you said something the other time, when we want to load it, dynamic, that can continue to increase. The data
and the
can
schema
continue
can
to increase,
change.
and the schema can change, right? The
Yes.
schema can change. We leave it there. Anytime the schema change, it is there. So if you
It's
want
just
to,
there.
it's just there. Anybody can, it's like a
Anybody, you can give people
source
access to that
data
one to go and be
warehouse
creating their
that
own report
raw
from there.
data is there. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Because so that will just ensure that yes, so that data it ensures consistency. So this one we are doing in the gold layer now. It's just like we are not trying to break it down to what can give us a model, dimension, or fact. But back to what you said, in some organization, they might not ignore the silver thing and might just be from bronze to gold direct. Do you understand? That is that after creating
Yes, I get.
cleaning the table, they will do the breakdown inside that same data flow gen 2 or inside that same inside their notebook. That's why I said at the beginning that the Medallion architecture doesn't have to pass through the three layers. It all depends on the requirements and the scope of your projects. Did I make sense more, Mr. Taiwo?
Very well, very well.
Okay.
Very well.
Thank you, sir. So let's create another one. Which one again? I say another one. Sales team ID. Sales team ID. So I'll just stop at the sales team ID. The sales team table rather. I will stop there for now. It's just for us to get the concept anyway. So this one will now be our Dean sales team. Okay, and I'll go and remove every other column here, and I'll only leave the sales team ID. Where did I see it? Oh, I can't see it again. Yeah. So the product, I will only leave products or any attributes here that relates to products. Oh, I'm supposed to remove duplicate too. Don't forget that because you are coming from a table that has everything. So you have to remove duplicate to have the unique values. Let's take note of that. The product also, I will go to choose. I'm trying to be very, very fast because our time is fast spent. Products ID, yes. That's the only column that relates to products. So on this one again, I'll remove duplicates. I will remove duplicates, making sure I have only one, making sure I have only one column. It's even seeing it as the key. Yeah. Dim store. Sharp. Choose column. Store ID. And click on OK. I remove duplicates. And I will have the same number for unique and the distinct count. Wonderful. Now that I've done this, the next thing I'll do is the dim customer. Okay, I've done for the customer already. Now I'll now do my actual sales now. So this is just the silver one, and I will now do for my sales now. So this one will now be fact sales. So I have 4 dimension tables and 1 fact. Fact underscore sales. I put that here. And I remove unnecessary columns that I want to remove further. I probably would not even need for this report. And I'll do choose column here, choose column here. So let's say I don't need sales channel. Right? Warehouse, can leave that one. All my date columns, currency, all these ones have they have dimension. So I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to okay. I should have even added this one. What's it called? Though? So the product should have unit cost and price. So let me remove it from this one. It should be in the products. It should be in the products table. I should have quantity here, right?
I am thinking since it's a measure, is it not supposed to be in the sales?
There are some database design structure that
yes,
the unit cost and price will be in the
product
in the product table.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Okay.
Because those kind of tables, they are slow changing dimension type 2 tables.
Yeah.
So when there's a new price, it will add another new row. and there will be an end date for the old price and a new start date for the new price.
Yes.
That's like the standard for a star schema. Am I correct, Mr. Taiwo?
Are you correct?
I'm just asking now.
You are not asking.
Because unit price and unit cost is also an attribute of the dimension of the product.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But because it wasn't specified whether it is a price of the product or whatever. So since we are talking about sales table here, which is our fat,
yeah,
you can leave the
so
price
it
there.
will be more related to product, of course.
Well, okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So if we want to, if we now want to multiply the unit to get our total sales, we can now multiply the unit cost, the unit price from the product table by the quantity we have in the sales table.
By the quantity in the sales table.
Yes, we can use joins for that. We can use related
tables.
Yeah, can use related to do that. So let's click on OK. Yeah, I'll go back to my product now and go and add those two columns to my product table. The unit, this thing, the unit selling, unit cost and unit price. Exactly. These ones are in my product table. So now
you should remove duplicate.
No, there's no need. I already done that for product ID already.
Okay.
So when I click on this one, it will be gone.
Okay.
It will also apply to the two columns that are just coming in. So we are done. You see now, 47, and then this one does not have. So this one is not. It doesn't matter whether the unique or the state of this one. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go ahead. Now that we have this, now this one that is the main table. I'm not going to load it as part of my data model. For this scenario, it's a staging table. I've already broken it down to fact and dimension, so I don't need this main one again. The only thing that it will do is that by the virtue of dependency, because these other ones depend on it, when I refresh, the other ones, it will reflect on the other ones. Is it clear, Mr. Okay and Mr. Taiwo?
Yes.
So I'm not going to be loading it as part of when I'm loading to the code layout. I won't load it again. So I will disable this enable staging. I will disable it. Yeah. You see that you know what we used to do, Mr. Okay? What we used to do inside Power BI, Power Query Desktop.
Yes.
Yeah. That will disable from load. You remember?
From load, yes.
Exactly. That's what we are doing here. But here it's calling a different name. It's saying enable staging is what it's calling it here. Right? In fact, we can even set up incremental refresh here, right? Or fast copy. The fast copy removes that limitation that they will say, oh, Power Query cannot really do much of. If it sees a lot of large data, I cannot. That's why we need notebook. But with fast copy now, Power Query can process large amounts of data, right? So now let's now load this one to our destination. So we'll now pick a warehouse this time around. Pick a warehouse. Do you want to enable staging? Query needs to be available. Do you want to enable staging? No, I don't want to enable any staging now. What are you saying? I'm coming up. A warehouse. Okay. So I'll click on next. So I've now loaded it. Thank you guys for staying by. We are almost done. So we'll now click on the warehouse. So the table name now. I'm not loading just one table now. Why is it showing like this? I'm coming, guys. Hold on. Let me cancel. Let me disable this staging for this one. If I disable, it should allow the others now. So let me go back to Let me quickly go back to, let me duplicate this page. Let me quickly go back to my, what do we call it? Let me go back to my workspace. Is it not allowing me now? How do I go back to my workspace now?
What book? What of okay.
I was supposed to go and create the workspace first. Okay, let me just okay, I know what to do. You cannot be smarter than me now. I will just create a new this thing. So I'll go and create the workspace first. Then I will now tell you to load it into that. I'll create a warehouse, rather. What am I saying? I'll create a warehouse, then I'll tell you to load inside that warehouse. So my Medallion workspace, and click on new item, and I'll click on warehouse. I'll click on warehouse. Click on warehouse. This one now my warehouse gold layer. I'll click on create. I've created a warehouse now. So I'll now go back to this one. I'll now pick my destination. Right? Pick the destination. I'll click on warehouse. Something is not right here. I'm coming up. When I disable staging for the main table, why is it? What is allowing me for the others now? This one is the only one that should disable. That it should disable staging. So what's the problem? Because I want to load in all the data, everything. Go to more. Fabric warehouse. Click on next. Yeah. Warehouse code layer. Click on next. This one is fixed schema. I can come back to click on append though. I change it to append though. If I only want the new data to be showing. If I have new rows of data, I click on new save settings. Okay, I think I still need to publish now. For God's sake. Okay. When I'm done, then I publish to that warehouse. I publish to the warehouse. We're almost done, guys. We are almost done. So this one is loading. So the gold layer. It's still loading, guys. Then we are going to now see it in the warehouse now. This is our warehouse. So when it's done loading, you will see all the tables. Oh, it said it's done, but it will still refresh. So let's give it some few seconds to refresh. It's refreshing now. It's done loading, but it's refreshing.
Can we refer everything that we have done now as
Yes.
end to end? Because we load our data, we did transform the data, We
Yes.
did architecture. We load the thing in staging. We put some in and eventually create a data warehouse, load them there before we
Yeah.
now start doing the reporting analysis that we want to do
Exactly.
and start.
Exactly. Yeah, it's end to end, sir.
Yeah.
It's end to end. So see now, I'm only seeing one table. What happened? Let me go back to our data flow gen 2. Uh-uh. Uh, it's not loading the other 4 tables. But the other time I didn't do it one by one. This is funny. This is not proper. Like, you should just do it once for me. It should be just once. Okay, no problem. That's the style that he wants to use for me this night. No problem. This thing comes in different style. So let me just do it for everything so that when I'm done, I keep publish it to just load everything to warehouse immediately. From the warehouse that we are now going to now build our semantic model. And we can now create our pipeline from there that will now run all the data flow, the copy data, everything. I will now show you how to orchestrate it. Okay, for product now. I'm almost done on this. Almost done. Warehouse. Okay, then remaining this one, then sales. That's the last one. Okay, I will now publish now. Okay, then I'll publish. So everything will now go together now at once. We're almost done. Mr. Okay, do you find this interesting?
Yes. In fact, actually, I've been trying to lay my hand on this Azure data fabric.
Okay.
In fact, maybe I don't know if I've actually reset it up before. He's asking me to pay money. That was why I said pay money.
You pay money. You pay money. I'm telling you.
Set it up?
No, you set it up, you pay money. To use the stuff, you have to connect it to your card. But I think your first month, they'll give you 200 Azure credits for free. So if you don't use past that $200 Azure credits, then you are fine. So it's only when you do some heavy workload that you start deducting your money.
So, like, what is the range of charges?
Sincerely, I'm not really an Azure person fully for now. I don't know. The charges are different. Fabric and Azure are different. So I will still call myself a newbie. I'm still learning, sha. I'm still like intermediate in Azure. I don't know much about the costing part.
That was why, in fact, I was
Okay, this one
reading.
is done
I
now.
have this Udemy class that I was trying to read. He was trying to set it up and was asking me. I first put my card. I had to cancel it that I don't know what they will be charging me. So
Sorry.
they gave me this $200 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I can use it to purchase something. I canceled
No,
it.
if you don't do any heavy workload, I don't think it's going to really take your money. Okay, sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. At least you'll be able to also track how you are spending your money on the
Yes, there's a part you
platform.
can track it, yeah.
So, but if you are just doing practice, and
I think
it's
it's
not a
somewhere
good,
around
I'm not
here.
saying.
I can't remember exactly where on the settings. Is it settings? Okay, I think it's under, is it monitoring? I can't remember exactly where. Let me go back. Let me click see if I can show you. This is my resource group. Yeah, this is cost management. Yeah, this is it here. Cost analysis. I think for me now, I think I have 200. But mine, I got it for free, sha. Because I'm MCT. So they give us $200 every month for if you're an MCT. Yeah, so this is where you just like Mr. Okay, so this is where you check your, how you are using your money, how you are spending it.
Okay.
So me, I don't do much yet, so that's why you see that my money is still intact. Okay, let's quickly go to why we are here. Talk about Azure later. So silver to gold. Then if you now go to the warehouse now, you see all the tables now. They are there, right? And the good thing is that inside the warehouse, you can apply your TSQL. You can do your normal select star from gym sales, pack sales. You see now, and you run just like the way you do in your SSMS. You see your results. You can even join. For example, now I can write a join. If I want to see the sales price, let me just do that in a minute. If I want to see the sales price, I can say select star from let's say I want to see products. I want to see all the products, list of all the products, then product ID. So let me first call out the DBO dots, then products dots product ID. Why is it not showing me on the IntelliSense? It's very slow. Products ID. Is that the name of the column? Yeah. Product ID. Right. Comma. Is there that I will now do the multiplication? I will now say sum of DBU dot the product dot what's it? Units price, Abby. Units price as what? Sales. Or not call it sales. From what table? From the DBO.dim product table. Some of these will be multiplied by, multiplied by fact sales, DBO.fact sales, fact sales dot quantity. It's called order quantity. Order quantity. Right? We call it sales. From this one, we now say join. Sorry, hold on for me, please. Okay, now say join. Give me an error. Join facts, this thing, dbo.facts, dbo.fact sales. You should join it based on what? You should join it on dbo.fact sales.pro.id. Fact sales. Oh, I'm trying to be fast, though. Don't mind me. That's why I'm making mistake. Fact sales product ID equals to what? dbo.dim products dbo.dim products dot product ID. Then I will now group by product ID. Group by dbo.dim products dot product ID. Where did I make mistake? It's showing me error. Incorrect syntax near this star. Unit price multiplied by order quantity. So where's the mistake?
I like the DBO at the group by nísàlẹ̀.
Yes.
Actually, I like yeah, group by, not group by. Was that group by or supposed to?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to group by the product ID?
Yes, because that's our first column. And we did
Yes.
we did an aggregation here. So we need to use group by.
Yes.
Because of the aggregation that we did. Mr. Okay, you can help us here. I don't know where I made mistake here. Correct syntax needs star.
Did we still need the dim product when we were summing it? Since the table that we are calling from is
that one is coming from sales. So it will go line by line to go and multiply.
The one that is coming from sales is fat. But the table that we are using to multiply, the table that we are calling from is product table. We are calling product from product table, trying to multiply the unit price that is already in product table with quantity that is in sales table. So we need to bring the sales table and use it to multiply. So I don't think we need this product table again, since we are calling from product table.
Okay. Just unit price alone.
Just unit price alone.
Oh.
No, it will. That is, you see, what I think what he's saying is that
okay,
you want to do that kind of calculation. It has to be from the same table. I'm not sure you can multiply from different tables.
No, I did it this morning and it worked.
From different tables.
So far, there's a join. You can multiply from two different tables.
Join.
I still did it this morning. Then I was practicing this thing. These things can be very, very funny sometimes. Eh? Something that you did in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening is not working. Oh, I've seen my mistake, Jare. Select start from is not correct.
Okay. We don't need we are selecting
select this one. That's the mistake, Jare.
Yeah, yes.
Let me run it again now and see. The group now is the problem. So what's the problem with the group now? Someone is left join. And if I don't use group by now, it will give me error.
Let's join the FAT on the FAT product ID is equals to the product ID.
Or what's it called? Is it
Did you put on now? Did you put on? Okay, on this day.
On is there.
Yeah.
Let me put it in the next line, Seb, so that everything will be clear to everybody. So we'll see where the mistake is clearly now. Or must it be capital group?
No. Okay, it is table now. Yeah, we are joining table. We are joining sales table with product table.
Oh God, this thing is what's delaying us now. Oh my God.
Says the product ID.
And what's the spelling of group?
That's when
GROUP now. That's spelling.
Wow.
What happened is that this left join, why are you using left join?
It's because it's only it should only give me based on the available products you have in the product table.
You just use inner join now. Use inner join.
Okay, I can use inner join, no problem.
It doesn't matter. I don't think that's the problem.
Doesn't matter, Shai, but let me use it. I'll come here. Let me copy and find the way to debug it. I'm coming.
The equals to, is it equals to or minus? That on product ID is equals to dim DBO dim product. Did you put minus there or equals to?
Is equals to that is there. Is equals to that is there.
Okay.
I'm coming.
I can't see any error.
Even me, I can't see any error too. Okay, I've pasted a new one now. Invalid column, unit price.
Okay, maybe because we did put table in that sum. That unit price, put table there.
That's what I want to do now.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, wait. What's the table? What's this thing called? Maybe the way you read the unit price is not the way I wrote it.
In the table originally.
In this thing, dim product. Let me see how it is written. We will know now whether I'm the one that is making. Oh, that's where the mistake is. There's no space. See units price. This thing get wahala. So that small thing now. Aha, you see now. So this is the result of the query. I can now save this query now as a view. You see now, under DBO schema, you can call the view products by what?
Unit price.
Sales by products rather.
Yep.
So you can create a view, right? So you click on OK. So you've created a view. So you can query your table, do your joins, CTE, anything that you want to do, you can do it.
And
right?
this method of query is just like you are combining SQL with method of writing Dask. Because if you are
Exactly.
writing Dask, you won't be putting those table, dim table.
It will not be.
You will just write the query straight, call all your
Yes.
table, join all your table, and whatever column that you want to add to the as the joint that you want to use to join it. You will just mention the column there.
Why is this query not saving as a view? Sorry. Okay, I have to highlight first. Yeah. If it's not working, I'll just leave it. Let's quickly go and show you guys. The other by clause is invalid. Well, let's leave this one, I beg. So now that we've done this, we will now go back to our our fabric, our workspace. We will now click on new item. Click on new item, and we now click on why is it hanging? Click on new item. Click new item, and we'll now click on pipeline. Right? So this pipeline now, we are now going to orchestrate everything that we have done. So the first pipeline that we used to ingest the data to bronze, it will be in this pipeline. So we call this pipeline for orchestration. Yeah, and we create pipeline for orchestration. Yes. So in our pipeline here, we will now have different activities. So the first one is our that's your other pipeline. So for us to bring in a pipeline, an already existing pipeline into a new pipeline as part of the activity for a new pipeline, we are going to use the invoke pipeline. So I click on invoke pipeline, and under my settings, I will now go and select the pipeline that I already have. This is the one we used to ingest to bronze. So do you get that part clear, everybody? You know that if the first pipeline, we just use that one to ingest data to the bronze layer. That's the only thing we did there. Copy data is what we did there, right? So when you are calling a pipeline inside another pipeline, you use invoke pipeline on the as per the activities, right? So after it has run this pipeline, the next thing that I want you to do is to run your data flows. The first data flow, go to settings. The first data flow is which one? The one that run from bronze to silver. So when this one is successful, you see the green on success and on fail. On fail is another one on completion. Is another one. Say, what's that one? On skip. I will when we talk about pipeline, I will show you that one later. So on success, so after it has ingested data, the next thing, data flow gen 2, So data flow gen 2, the first data flow is this one. You can edit it, you can edit the name. Oh, I don't want to go to the data flow, this man, for this thing. After that, I'll call in another data flow again. That's the second data flow that we used. The second one that we used to break down the tables into factor and dimension. I also on success, it should also run the second data flow, right? This one is the one that is transferring it to, this is the one transferring it to this thing. So the first data flow from bronze to silver, the second data flow, that one is for the what? The silver to gold, right? And when you can now schedule this one. So you can click on schedule. Under home, click on schedule. You can first validate that there will be no problem. You said you have one invalid activity. To save the pipeline, you can fix or deactivate that. Invoke pipeline. Connection is required. Oh, sorry. I need connection for this one. Azure Data Factory connection. Is that, yeah. Is that what I need? What's the connection that I need here? It's still Fabric now. What's the connection that I need? I think I need the connection to that particular Azure this thing. That's the last thing we are doing, and we are done. Okay, anybody, do you have any questions so far? Oh. This is what I need, no. Just hold on. Oh, why my yeah, it's my connection. Okay. Connect. Okay. So let me validate. Okay, it said fix now. Click on validate again. Everything looks good. The pipeline has been, no errors were found. Good. So you can now schedule now. You can schedule that maybe you want your pipeline to run at a particular schedule. Add schedule. You can run you can run schedule by minutes. You can run schedule hourly. You can schedule it daily. Time of the day. Start date and end dates and time. You can schedule weekly. You see, on some days of the week. You can schedule weekly. You can schedule monthly, depending on the requirements, right? And I can click on run now. I can run it now. So when I run it now, so how do you see whether it's if it's running? You click on outputs. It's not showing anything yet. Why is it not running? So let me click on run. So save and run. So it first run the first one, which is the pipeline, the second data flow, and the third one. So data will keep moving in that sequence. Any questions so far? Good. Mr. Okay, Mr. Taiwo? So that is basically a beginner, it's a beginner demo to Medallion architecture. Let's just wait for this to run. So it's running the pipeline. It's running the pipeline first. After the pipeline, to run the data flow and run the second data flow, and the cycle is complete.
When we are if we are doing this,
Sorry?
if we use this Azure Data Fabric, is it still possible to do slow change dimension, do all those stuff that we do in SSIS here
You mean for the pipeline?
for the pipeline?
I'm trying to really get what you want me to. Is it
Like
is it for the
when we are
transformation
writing,
part?
when we are doing transformation, when we are
Yes.
writing query, and
Mhm.
in the queries that we are writing, maybe the requirement said there is a, like you said the other time, maybe from single to marry or from one brand to another brand, we want
STD
to
type 2.
do SED type 1, type
Yeah.
2, type 3, all those stuff. Is it
Yeah.
still possible to do all those SED?
Why not? It's possible.
Okay.
When we start talking about pipelines, you will see some things that we are going to do with pipelines.
Okay.
We are
But
going to really explore.
that means majorly this cloud-based
This one is
ETL.
succeeded. See, the first one succeeded. The second one is process is the progress. Continue.
So that means this cloud-based data outlook is as good as when you are talking about SSMS, SSIS, SSRS,
Exactly.
everything that you want to do
The
in
end to
simple
end. You
end-to-end
can even
from
create a Power BI report here.
now create Power BI
You write
reports
your
rather
DAX
than using
formula,
SSRS
everything.
and stuff.
Exactly.
And
But
this seems
this one
to
is better
be
than
what people are
SSIS.
using now. Eh?
This one is far better than SSIS. It's far better than SSIS.
Okay, and it seems to be what everybody want to go cloud or something like that.
Everybody wants to go cloud. Nobody's going back to
It means
SSIS.
there's more prospect in this one
Exactly.
than SSIS and stuff.
Exactly.
Okay,
There's more prospect in this one.
because we are still looking for jobs, so that we'll know which one to go.
And Fabric and Azure is, I will tell you, for Canada, Fabric and Azure is hot cake.
Okay.
Especially Azure.
Okay.
The Fabric was so Fabric is already gaining. You see, the first data flow succeeded too. It's remaining the last one.
Yeah.
So after you build all those things you built, you just need to come and orchestrate it here. That's all. That's what data engineers do. After they built the first pipeline that it brought the data to bronze, they have one data flow or one notebook that does the first transformation level that cleans the entire data. There's another notebook that breaks it down, or data flow into that breaks it down into fact and dimension and everything, and they load it to a warehouse. That one is just like the initial thing they will do. After that, they might not have any reason to go back unless there are change requests. So they'll
Because
just
even in SSMS, SSIS, SSI, all those SQL Server, it's the same thing. When we write query, by the time we are doing the creating tables, inserting value into table, selecting it, joining some table, invoking all those things. This is the exact thing that eventually will arrive at. We'll do modeling. By the time we are creating the table, we are already modeling it. We are doing constraint and stuff like that.
So you know the good thing about this one, we created everything and now we've orchestrated it. Unless maybe the pipeline fail, might not have any reason to come back to this pipeline at all for anything, because companies usually have different kind of pipelines that they've built that transforms, that moves data
in the cloud. You just be running all the time. It's not like a manual data warehouse somewhere that if there is additional data, if they need to go and connect with another data elsewhere, that might give problem to their own data. On ground, on site.
I think there's another thing you can even do here. I've forgotten it. Maybe it is obviously I've forgotten exactly. So somebody did it on the YouTube. Like even if one of the pipeline fails, I think if one of the activity fails, it can notify you on your email. And notify you on your email. So see those things you see here on fail on. I will explain everything to you So when we come back next week now, what we'll do to complete this class is for us to just do our data model build our data model from the warehouse. And let me just see if you can really even do it, sir. So new semantic model from the warehouse, and I'll just click all the tables that I want to click, and I'll just give it a name, and I'll call it sales_model. Right? I've created so these are all the tables that I need in my model, and I'll click on confirm. And it will create my data model for me, and I can connect my Power BI to that to build my Power BI reports. So I will show you how to do the model parts next week. So guys, we really tried. We used more than this 2 hours 23 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed the section.
But just giving me confidence that please wrap up.
Yeah. It's okay. Any addition, any subtraction?
No.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
See you guys again next week Sunday. We continue from here. And from after we're done with this one, we'll now move to pipeline. Talk about variable parameters, pipeline expressions, and all those things. That's what we'll move to next. See you guys next week Sunday. Enjoy. Have a lovely week.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.